Six memorable models from the golden age of muscle cars. The 1960s launched the golden era of muscle cars, with every major manufacturer offering at least one model. Simply defined, muscle cars are coupes with long hoods, big engines, and a powerful stance, typically performance versions of standard models. The term pony car is sometimes used interchangeably with muscle car, but for this list, the usual Ford Mustang, Chevrolet Camaro, and Pontiac Firebird suspects are not included. Number 1, the Ford Torino GT. Ford followed up the successful introduction of its Mustang pony car by releasing the Ford Torino in 1968. Based on the intermediate Ford Fairlane, the Torino was initially an upscale version of the Fairlane. Its Torino GT edition offered a standard 4.9-liter V8 engine, but its late available 335 horsepower 7-liter V8 propelled this coupe into muscle car territory. Known as the 428 Cobra Jet for its 428 cubic inch engine, these models featured special red and chrome 428 badging to set them apart from the other Torino GTs. 3- and 4-speed manual transmissions and a 3-speed automatic were available. Ford also made available a suspension package with heavy-duty shocks and a front stabilizer bar with this model. Number 2 is the Chevrolet Chevelle SS. Introduced in 1964, the Chevy Chevelle was an intermediate-sized model sold in coupe, convertible, sedan, and station wagon body styles. Initially known as the Malibu SS, the Chevelle SS name was later separated from Malibu to create a distinct model line. In 1970, the Chevelle SS reached its peak performance level when it was equipped with a 7.4-liter, that's 454 cubic inch engine, making 360 horsepower. A high-output version of that engine made 450 horsepower, with just 4,475 copies produced for its lone model year. The Pontiac GTO is number 3. Analysts acknowledge that the Pontiac GTO was not the fastest muscle car, nor did it excel in handling or in braking. What set the GTO apart is that it lifted Pontiac's performance image, a showroom-ready stock model that the average person could buy and drive without modifying. Based on a Pontiac Tempest, the GTO's 1964 introduction essentially launched the muscle car segment, a hardtop coupe powered by a 389 cubic inch or 6.4-liter V8 engine. A 3-speed floor-mounted manual transmission with a Hurst shifter was standard. A 4-speed manual and a 2-speed ST300 automatic were optional. Metallic drum brake linings, a ride and handling package, and a limited slip differential were also available. Number 4 is the AMC AMX. General Motors, Ford, and the Chrysler Corporation have long been known as the Big Three automakers, representing the top American car manufacturers. By the 1960s, American Motors was the last of the surviving smaller U.S. car companies. Despite its small size, though, AMC managed to field several memorable models, including the AMX, its first muscle car. The AMC AMX was the shortened wheelbase version of the AMC Javelin, an intermediate coupe. Its shorter proportions and 2-seat layout made it the poor man's Corvette in some eyes, and a surprisingly strong performer because of its light weight. Introduced in 1968, the AMC AMX was offered with 4 V8 engine choices. The largest was a 390 cubic inch or 6.4-liter motor that was rated at 315 horsepower. A Borg-Warner 4-speed manual transmission was standard, and each model was equipped with wider tires, special traction bars, and dual exhaust system. Land speed racing legend Craig Breedlove set more than 100 records with the AMX, leading AMX to order a special run of 50 Craig Breedlove red, white, and blue editions to honor the driver. Number 5, the Plymouth Barracuda. Based on the platform underpinning the Plymouth Valiant, the Plymouth Barracuda hit the market just 2 weeks before Ford introduced its new-to-the-world Mustang. Its small stature evoked comparisons with pony cars, but it wasn't until the third-generation model was released in late 1969 that CUDA attained the true muscle car status and proportions. The now larger Plymouth shared its platform with the Dodge Challenger, but sheet metal and dimension differences separated the two muscle cars. The most famous engine that powered the CUDA was the 426 cubic inch or 7.0-liter Hemi V8. It was rated at 425 horsepower or a TorqueFlite 3-speed automatic. Only a few hundred of these models were produced, with just 21 convertibles the 2 years that this engine was available. Number 6, the Buick GS X. Every GM car brand except for Cadillac got into the muscle car craze. The Buick Grand Sport was based on the Buick Skylark, but it was the GS X edition that is the most memorable of the lot. The Buick GS X was a model option introduced in 1970, 5 years after the Grand Sport hit the market. That model was powered by a 7.4-liter or 455 cubic inch V8 engine, newly outfitted with improved heads, larger valves, and a better camshaft. It was rated as high as 360 horsepower and a whopping 510 foot-pounds of torque. It had a 4-speed manual transmission and was available in yellow or white only with racing stripes. Likely the horsepower numbers of the muscle car era were understated, in part not to draw attention from a federal government eager to put a lid on vehicle emissions and to improve both safety and fuel economy. The last year of the original muscle car era vehicles were produced in 1974, when cars began to shrink both in stature and in performance to help comply with the more stringent federal requirements.